Come, let us explore how instinct is a dreadful cure that it actually exacerbates stress. This evening's lesson is drawn from my book in progress, Easy Enlightenment. Instinct's dreadful cure that exacerbates stress. Hey, Jay, glad to see you. Whoops, got a technical snafu here. Okay. If the first noble truth was the pervasive nature of suffering, or more accurately, stress, then the second truth is its cause or actual exacerbation. Evolution has gifted us with... Oops, there we go. Here we go. Evolution has gifted us with a dopamine-oriented system in our underbrain that rewards for procreation with fleeting feelings of pleasure. It also rewards for finding warmth when it's cold, shade when it's hot, water when we're thirsty, food when we're hungry, and rest when we're weary. Why? For all these things keep us alive long enough to pass on our traits, and that is of primary concern to our genes, the puppet master behind the scenes. The religious folks sometimes describe the primary drives of this dopamine-oriented reward system as pushing, pulling, and clinging. I'm just crass enough to prefer the 5 F's. When exposed to anything, being, or phenomena, deep within our viscera, we ask, should I fuck this, feed on this, fight this, flee from this, faint before this, or fawn over it? Yes, this mechanism aids in our survival, but a life defined only by survival is rather shallow and unsatisfying. You see, we have an oxytocin-oriented system also in the basement of our brain that rewards cooperation with feelings of fulfillment. When this system is our default mechanism, life is pretty sweet. But sometimes we get stuck in our dopamine-oriented system, and life becomes, as Thomas Hobbes insisted, solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. In his third noble truth, the Buddha offers us liberation. Liberation from what? Liberation from the tyranny of our dopamine-oriented survival impulses. Freedom from its role of tyrant and its relegation to the role of mere tool. Harmless, benign, and at times even useful. This is why the Buddha taught meditation. I think it could be great fun if together as a team we did a bit of chanting and a bit of meditating. After approximately, oopsie, did I lose my place? After approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. Oopsie, this is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. That's weird. Come. Together let us play with the latest iteration of Diamond Mind's Easy Meditation. But first I must play you a tune on my schnoz. All right. Harken back to the days of junior high, when pot-bellied men in baseball caps, armed only with whistles and a loud voice, would demand that we first warm up, then exercise, followed by a cool down. That outline is going to do an excellent job of what we're going to practice tonight. The view of reality that supports letting go is the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Let's play with that right now as we work with Maha Yoga's Wisdom Warm-Up. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with all follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. The Buddha was fond of organizing all that we could perceive into the four categories of the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. Let us begin right now with the circumstantial. You'll notice that this enormous sentence begins with the word may. This is not a prayer to a real or imagined entity. These are simply words that we're using to guide our intention. Please chant with me. May we see how all circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. We're going to use the verb melt as a metaphor of impermanence. We're going to use the verb absorb as a metaphor of interdependence. And just as some fight fire with fire, we are going to use self-centeredness to transcend self-centeredness. Let us take all these words and shrink them down to just 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Together. May we feel how all bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. May we hear how all interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. In addition to passively exploring impermanence and interdependence, we're also going to demystify the idea of emptiness. The only way to understand emptiness is not as a literal phenomena, but as a figurative one. Let's chant. May we feel how all perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. Having limbered up our intellect, we can turn to the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, Ati Yoga's mindfulness and meditation. Anu Yoga supports Ati Yoga. Anu Yoga's energy work, which is accessed through gestures or mudras, is how we're going to do that. We can use our knuckles to keep track of the 4 collections of our left hand's 8 sets and our right hand's 12 rounds. Please rest the great knuckle at the base of your right little finger upon the tip of your left little finger, stacking both these hands palms up in your lap. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever lower abdomen we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined syllable ah comprised only of green light. A round is one inhalation and one exhalation. How we're going to count 12 rounds on just 4 fingers and 1 thumb. Simple. During each inhalation, as silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this, we could also advance the tip of our right thumb. What's all this business about this? Tulku Thondup taught that the essence of mindfulness was simply noticing the play of mind. The most efficient way of doing that is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Doing so induces our cerebral cortex to cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system in the middle third of our spinal cord. The sympathetic nervous system that is in charge of noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly the antics of mind as it perceives, emotes, intends, reasons, recalls, and imagines. Chogden Tulku taught the essence of meditation was to relax into the nature of mind. The most efficient way to do that is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the 1-syllable verb ease during each exhalation, thus inducing our cerebral cortex to cooperate with our parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced within the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Thus, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel less solid, less permanent, less defining, at least momentarily. So, as with each inhalation, as silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this, please advance the tip of your right thumb with me, beginning with your little finger. So now you've learned how to count 12 rounds on just 4 fingers and 1 thumb. But how are we going to count 8 sets of 12 rounds? Enter the dragon. Whoops, wrong movie. Enter the left hand. On your left hand, you can count your first set of 12 rounds, your second set, your third set, your fourth set of 12 rounds, your fifth set, your sixth set, your seventh set, even your 8th set of 12 rounds. And then you'll be ready to switch knuckles. In preparation of gathering our second collection of 8 sets of 12 repetitions, please rest the great knuckle at the base of your right ring finger upon the tip of your left ring finger in your lap. As you relax into your exhalation, whatever navel region you might have noticed during your previous inhalation can now feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined syllable tram comprised only of gold light. Allow me to remind you, the essence of mindfulness is the vulnerable, passive, visceral, random, and fleetingly is to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perceiving, emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. The easiest way to do that is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The essence of meditation is to relax into mind's non-graspable nature. The easiest way to do that is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. As we gather our third collection of 8 sets of 12 rounds, let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, upon the tip of our left little finger in our lap. While our thumbs merrily count creases. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever heart we might have noticed during our previous inhalation can now feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined syllable "whom" comprised only of blue light. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly noticing mind's antics of perceiving, emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. The most efficient way to do that is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun "this" during our inhalation. This induces our cerebral cortex to cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system in charge of these things. Meditation is simply relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. The most efficient way to do that is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb "ease" during each exhalation, thus inducing the cerebral cortex to cooperate with the parasympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. we can keep track of our fourth collection of 8 sets of 12 rounds. By resting the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever crown of our head we might have noticed during our previous inhalation can now feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined syllable alone, comprised only of white light. What if mindfulness was simply vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly noticing mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, thought, memory, and imagination? If that was the case, the easiest way to practice it would be to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. If meditation was simply relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature, the easiest way to practice it would be to silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Let us shift gears now from silent meditation to mantra meditation. So let's now review the mantra's meaning. Please chant with me. With whom I invoke the Benza diamond-like strength of a Sato mind well trained. In the Buddha's Eightfold Path, with whom I wish that all beings rapidly accomplish its mastery. As we inhale, silently, mentally, and passively recite, relaxing into this. As we exhale, we could physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant this 6-syllable mantra 6 times per breath. Om Benza Sato Hung 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 Om Benza Sato Hung. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap. Om Benza Sato Hung 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 Om Benza Sato Hung. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger in our lap. Om Benza Sato Hung 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 Om Benza Sato Hung. Let us rest the great knuckle at the root, at the base of our right ring finger, upon the tip of our left ring finger in our lap. Om Benza Satuhung, 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 Om Benza Satuhung. Let us, having already completed the wisdom warm-up as well as mindfulness and meditation, it's now time for the compassionate cool down in light of the fact that loving kindness comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with all these of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. The Buddha was fond of organizing that which could be perceived in the four categories of the mental, the interpersonal, the physical, and the circumstantial. Let us bring love into those four paths, beginning with the mental. Please bear in mind that our use of the word may is not a prayer, but simply an intention. We're using words to guide our intentions. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a tikle one syllable zero bija mantra. Let us take all these words and compress them down to just 6 syllables, which we can silently and mentally recite during our inhalation. Please rest the great knuckle at the base of your right little finger upon the tip of your left little finger in your lap. Om Benza Satuhung, 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 Om Benza Satuhung. The mental morality of kind intention is the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Together, may all relationships or speech of all beings know be as joyfully loving as a Real or imagined Buddha speech symbolized by a multisyllabic mantra. Please rest the great knuckle at the base or the root of your right ring finger upon the tip of your left ring finger in your lap. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. The interpersonal morality of kind communication is the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health represented by Buddha's statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined yet dominant archetype of enlightenment such as Dorje Sampa. Please rest the great knuckle at the base of your right middle finger upon the tip of your left middle finger in your lap. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. The physical morality of kind conduct is the fourth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safe fortune open. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Vanti. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung, Om Bezazaduhung. The circumstantial morality of kind commerce is the fifth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.